All right, so today's class is Designs 101. Right now I am at agent.kw.com and I'm going to sign in. For designs, we recommend using Firefox. We have seen that the design section tends to work best within Firefox. So I'm going to go ahead and get signed in with my KW username and password. And I'll give you a moment to do the same as well. All right, so I am signed in. I am at agent.kw.com and we're going to be in the design section today. So from my homepage, I'm going to go over to the left and this is our applet menu. And while you're still learning what these different applets are, you can actually click on the KW at the top left. It'll expand this section and show you the name of each applet. So let's go down to the option that looks like a paintbrush. This is going to bring us into designs. All right, this is my design templates. This is where you can access pieces that you've created previously. So this is basically a library of our saved pieces. You can scroll through these different options here. You can view your email pieces. You can view your standalone landing pages, social pieces that we've created, print, your agent site pages. So the pages on your website are actually edited here as well. And then you can add in videos. So again, this is just a library of pieces we've created in the past. If you haven't created any designs yet, you likely have nothing here on this page. But to create something new, we just have to go down to the bottom right and click on this plus sign. From here, we can select whether we'd like to create an email piece, an email campaign, a social post, a print piece, upload a video, or import a PDF. This import PDF option, this is really cool. This is kind of similar to Adobe Acrobat Pro. You can actually import PDFs and they will become editable for you. So you can change the photos, move things around, change the text, and so on. We're going to start today by creating a social piece. So I'm going to select social. You'll notice that we also have the option to import photos and text from a listing. I'm going to go ahead and skip over this now. But we will revisit this when we create a flyer. So I'm going to skip this for now. You can actually, if you don't select this, if you forget or if you miss it, you do have the option to select a listing when you're in the actual piece as well. So I'm just going to click social and then next. All right, that brings us into our social templates. Now, before we actually go in and check out any of the templates, I want to look at these other options here. So currently we are in the templates tab, which we will come back to. There's also this option for My Designs. This is just an expansion of your library. You can see all of our pieces we've created in the past. You can actually create folders. So you can see we have some folders here where you can categorize your pieces. So if you have a bunch of pieces in here like we do, you can go ahead and start to organize them. You can see I can drag and drop and add different items into these folders and create new folders over here. If you are looking to start with a blank template, you can actually select that here. If you're looking to create something completely customized, this is where you would go to choose a blank template. You can import PDFs from this page, and you can also go back to the templates. There's also the option here for My Assets. Now, before you create any pieces in Command, you will want to take a look at this My Assets section. This is basically a library of photos, logos, and different elements that you may want to use on your design pieces. So it starts with this section, colors and fonts. If you have a specific color palette that you are using for your branding, you can actually select those colors here, making it really easy for you to use them on your pieces. You can also upload custom fonts. If you have a custom font that you have paid for or you're using specifically for your branding, you can upload those font files here, select colors, as well as add in additional color palettes. There's also an option for logos. So if you have a custom logo for your office or your team, you'll want to add those into this section here. So you can see we do have a few logos added in. To add a new logo, I can click upload over here at the far right. And it will allow me to upload a logo that I have saved on my computer. So I'm going to click my device. And I do have a logo saved here. And you can see I uploaded that logo from my computer. So now I will be able to use this logo on my design pieces. Smart text, this is going to be text that you may use frequently on your pieces. So maybe links to your social media, your slogan, your name, address. You can see examples of that here. And this will all make sense when we're actually creating a piece. I'll show you these different items in action, but you can add in additional fields here. So again, these are just examples of bits of text that you might be using on design pieces. Images. This is where you'd want to add in your headshot or any stock images you may be using. So it doesn't load from this page, but these are mine and Scott's headshots. And when we actually create the piece, we'll be able to select our headshots from here. Again, you can upload additional files by clicking this upload button here. So under images, this would be any stock images that you'd like to use or your headshots. Elements, there are elements you can use in the pieces. It's kind of like clip art. So if you have your own clip art, you can import that here. Videos and additional files as well. So again, I would take a look at this section before you create any pieces. And the main things that you probably want to touch on are images. So adding in your headshot to the images section, and then your logo, your office logo or your team logo to this section. Now let's go in and actually create a piece. So I'm going to go back to this templates tab. And right now we are looking at social templates. So if I wanted to create a print piece, I would actually have to go all the way back into command and then select a print piece. So right now I'm only viewing social pieces. So you can see it starts with pieces about the app. Under listings, we have a bunch of different options, everything from for sale, just listed, and so on. And when I click on any one of these, so for example, if I click for sale, you can see I have pieces for social wide. These are great for Twitter, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads. So Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, these pieces are good for. Social Square, these are formatted specifically for Instagram, but you can also post these on Facebook or LinkedIn. The great thing about the designs in Command is they're pretty interchangeable. You can download everything as either a PDF or a JPEG. So you can print these pieces. You can take a print piece and post it on Facebook. So they're really interchangeable, which is great. They also have pieces formatted for your stories, so your Instagram and Facebook stories. These are the right size for that. So there are pieces for listings, for buyers. Under lead gen, this is where you can find holiday pieces. Got some Lunar New Year and Mardi Gras stuff coming up, President's Day. Event invitations, client love. You can look through here and just see that there's lots of great fun stuff, lots of designs. Under business basics, you can find email signatures and social branding. So there's Twitter cover photos, LinkedIn, Facebook cover photos, and so on. But we're going to start today by just creating a listing piece. So I'm going to go back up to this listings option. Let's go into for sale. Let's create a Facebook piece. So I'm going to listings, for sale, and then social wide. And I'm just going to select this first option here. So I'm going to click use, and this will bring me into the piece so we can start editing. Now we're in the piece, and over here on the left, these are the different tools that we're going to use to edit this piece. So it starts in the images section, and it does bring up my assets first. So you can see these are what we added into that my assets or library section. So we can see these are our headshots, and we also have a stock photo and a logo in here. Under company, you actually have access to some stock images here. So under holidays, you can see some fun holiday photos, and you have access to all of these. House interiors, these are all stock photos that you would be able to use and use these on your pieces, and so on. So these are all options that you have available to you. If you find that you need to upload a photo, you can go here into images and then add and upload a photo from your computer, which I'm going to be showing you here shortly. We have this text option where you can add in additional text. There are some text banners that you can use. You can just drag and drop these onto the piece. Company text, it just says this, each company is independently owned and operated. You can see that's already on our piece here. And then under My Assets, these are those bits of text that we added into the My Assets section. We also have icons. So this is kind of like clip art. You can use these little icons and drag and drop them onto your pieces. Logos, here's our logos from the My Assets section. We uploaded those into My Assets. You also have access to some company logos here. These KW logos, these are going to be the generic KW ones. If you do need your custom office logo, that can be found in kwconnect.com. And I'll go ahead and pull that up for you. It's under resources. I'm going to drop the direct link to that in the chat, so you have that as well. So if you need to download your custom office logo, that is found in KW Connect. I did drop that in the chat for you. And on this page in KW Connect, there's a section where you can type in your market center number or name, and it'll give you the logo specific to your market center. So if you find that you need that, you can get those on kwconnect.com. And then the last section over here is KWLS. So when we went into this design piece, you'll remember that I chose not to select a listing. So you can do it at the beginning before you go into the piece, or if you forget, you can actually do that from here as well. So I clicked KWLS, and here under listing, I'm going to search for the listing I'm looking for. I can search by listing address, MLS number, KWLS ID, listing agent, or co-listing agent. So I'm going to start to type in the listing that I'm working with. And it's going to search the whole KWLS for me. So I can scroll down. I found my listing here, and I'm going to select this listing. So what this is going to do, it's going to make it really easy for me to pull photos and listing details, so address, property description, things like that, onto my piece. Somebody asked about email signatures. There are email signatures within Command. And then at the end of class today, I'm going to show you our email signatures on scottleroymarketing.com. In Command, you only have, I think, 2 options there. And then on our website, we have a lot of different options. So at the end of class, we're going to be going over creating an email signature as well. So I selected my listing under this KWLS tab, and now I can use these photos and text on my piece. So I do want to point out, unfortunately, at this time, the KWLS photos have been acting a little funny. We've been having some trouble adding those in. We're going to try that again today, but typically what you do, now we're going to start to edit our piece. So I'm going to click on the photo over here on the left. This is the photo that I'd like to change. I have my listing selected under KWLS. Now I can go over here and you can see I have a few options. If I click add image, it's just going to plop that photo on top of my whole piece. So what I can do is I actually have the option for this replace image button. When I do this, you can see it plugs in my photo. And that is the error that we're experiencing right now. So you can see I did utilize that replace image button, and we're going to use this replace button for other elements, but you can see at this time, the KWLS photos are not saving properly. So you can hit replace. You can also drag and drop the images over, but specifically KWLS, they are not saving. They're doing this little error where it moves it over. So I'm still going to use this KWLS section to add in my listing details, but for this photo specifically, since these photos are not being added in properly, I'm going to go over to my Images tab. I have these listing photos saved on my computer. So to add those in, I'm going to go to Images and then Add. From here, I'm going to select images from my computer. So I'm going to click right here. And I have those photos saved on my computer. So once I do that, you can see I selected that photo from my computer and it's going to appear here under Imported Images. So there's my photo. Now what I can do is I can drag that photo over to this section. And let's see, there we go. Now this is working properly. So unfortunately, yeah, that bug with KWLS, the photos aren't generating, but if you add in the photos just from your computer, if you have them saved, they will save on the piece. Now that I have this photo here, I can also click this reposition button if I want to change how this is cropped. So I want to drag this down a little bit so the roof isn't cut off. And that looks good. Now let's start to change out the text on this piece. I'm going to click on the listing address up here at the top right. Of course, I can just double click in this box and start typing. But I have my listing pulled up under KWLS. So I'm going to click KWLS again. And this time click Listing Details. From here, I'm going to find my listing address. You can see this is the property address here. I have the box selected that I want to change, and I'm going to click that Replace button. And you can see really quickly it swapped out that text. Now you may need to readjust this. So for example, the state is not added in. I like to then click in this box and add the state. And you can see the size needs to be adjusted as well. So I'm just going to drag this line over to give myself a little bit more room. And then I'm clicking here and adjusting the text box. Let's see. So I can drag that and make it so it fits just a little bit better. You'll also notice when I'm moving things around on the piece, these grid lines are appearing and things are sort of snapping into place. This is going to help so that everything and the different elements on your pieces are aligned properly. So we can make sure that those are aligned here. That looks great. And there we go. My listing address is swapped out. Now I need to change these property details over here. Now, all of this info is in one text box. So if I were to go over to my listing details and find bedrooms, if I were to hit replace, it's going to replace everything in that box with just this number 4. So I don't actually want to do that. And unfortunately, it looks like the back button, typically there was a back button here that would work, and it's not allowing me to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm a little nervous to click on this button. Let's see if this will work. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so unfortunately, this back button isn't working. Let's see. So you can see the replace button wasn't the best option for this. So for some of these, it may be easier to just type in the text. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. This is 4 bed, 2.5 bath. Add in the square feet. And then the price. There we go. So that is now good to go. Again, I can just click on this and line things up, move things around. I'm basically just clicking and editing. I can change when this was built. It was built in 2007. So I'm just going to double click in this box. Of course, I can make further changes to the text. I can select different fonts, change the text size, the text color, and so on. The last thing I need to do for this is change the logo. So I'm going to click on the logo that I'd like to change here. I can select a company logo, but I already have my logos added into my assets. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my assets and find the logo that I'd like to use and click replace. Now for the logos, it does kind of drop them in the middle of this box. So you may have to adjust this. So that's fine. I'm just moving it up, adjusting the sides and putting it in the perfect place. So you can see very quickly, I was able to complete this social media piece. Now we have a few different options of what we can do from here. I definitely want to save this. So we're going to go up to the top right, and you can see right here where it says 07FSFB. So this is for sale Facebook, the 7th piece. We're going to change this file name. This is the file name here. All I need to do is double click in this box, and that'll allow me to change the file name. So I'm going to say America's Facebook, so FB. And once I hit enter on my keyboard, that is going to save within my library in Command. Somebody asked about those Market Center logos. I'm going to drop that link again in the chat. You will find them on kwconnect.com. Not every office has one. So if you go onto that KW Connect page and you search for your office and there aren't logos, it's possible that KW has not created them for your office yet, but check out that KW Connect page. So I changed the file name here. This is saved in my library. Now I'm going to go over here to download. When I click on this download option, it does give me a few different options here. I can download this as a JPEG, a PNG, or a PDF. This is just a Facebook piece, so JPEG is just fine. So I'm going to leave this on JPEG and then click Start Download. And this is going to save to my computer. I'll go ahead and pop that open, and there we go. Now we can see this is my Facebook piece we just created. Now I can take this piece, I can open up a new tab, go to facebook.com and post this to Facebook. The cool thing about Command is, and these social media pieces, you can actually go into your campaigns now and go into social posts, and you can pull social pieces directly from your design library and post them to Facebook via campaigns. Somebody did ask about Instagram posts. So I'm not going to go over campaigns today, unfortunately, but from here, I could go into the campaign section of Command and I can do social posts. So I can post on Facebook. Somebody asked about Instagram. Unfortunately, there isn't a way to schedule social media posts for Instagram at this time. There's only the option within Command to run Instagram ads, not social posts. So unfortunately, that's not available, and I'm not quite sure when that will become available. I think the Instagram app just itself doesn't allow for post scheduling like that. So unfortunately, that's not an option at this time. All right, so my piece is good to go. I'm going to go ahead and click done at the top right, and that'll bring me back into Command. So now I can see there's my new piece that I just created. And I want to point out real quick, from here, I did mention you can go into campaigns. So I'm going to click on this icon here that looks like a little megaphone. And I'm just going to give you a super quick overview of this. So I'm in campaigns. I'm now going to create a new campaign. I can post that piece I just created on Facebook directly from Command. So I'm going to click create a new campaign and then social post. From here, basically what you do, and we go over this in my marketing with Command class, basically you're just creating a Facebook post. You answer and fill out these options over here on the left, and it creates your post over here on the right. So you can see under the images section, we have an option to browse our design library. So when I click on that, these are all of my social pieces. So when you're posting to social media from Command, you're only going to have access to the social media design pieces. If you created a print piece that you want to post through Command, that's totally fine as well. You just have to save it as a JPEG and upload it manually. But through the campaigns, you have access to the design library just for your social pieces. So this is that piece we just created together. I can select that piece here, and now you can see it's going to start building my Facebook post. And it just gave me an error message saying it was unusable. So it's possible because I just created this. It's not, here we go. Okay. If you see that error, just try again. So you can see I can select my design from the design library. That's our Facebook piece we just created. I'm going to change the cropping on this so it fits perfectly. And once I click crop image, you can see very easily I was able to pull my design from the library and start to create a Facebook post for that piece. Somebody said they're having an issue with images being blurry on the templates. I'm not quite sure why that would be happening. If your image you're trying to add in is really small, it could be coming over as blurry. I know sometimes it also just takes a moment for the image to like load and fully adjust on the piece. But if you're having further trouble with that and it's not working, feel free to send us an email and include that image you're trying to add in and let us know what piece you're working on and we can take a closer look. So there we go. Basically from here, you would just finish creating your Facebook post. So I'd say something like just listed in Thompson Station and so on. But we go over this more in my marketing with Command class. But you can see very easily I'm able to pull over designs from the design library and post directly to Facebook. So let's actually go back into designs. I do want to point out some of the print pieces that we have available. So we're going to go back over and click on the little paintbrush again and go back to designs. And now we're back in my design templates. I'm going to click on the plus sign again down at the bottom right. And this time let's choose print. And then import photos and text from a listing. So this is another way to add in your listing when you are creating a piece in Command. This time I'm choosing it from the beginning and it brings up this KWLS search page. It should bring up a page first and it'll say all listings. You can also toggle between only my listings. And you can search for your listings here. If you don't see your listings under only my listings, that's okay. There is sometimes a delay with listings not displaying in that section. Change it to all listings and then just do a search. As long as you can find it, that means the listing is within KWLS. So I'm going to look for my listing again. I found that here and I'm going to click select. And now when I go into a piece, the listing should automatically be selected. Now we're looking at print pieces. So again, same sort of thing. There's pieces for the app. Under listings, you can see there are options for door hangers, flyers, postcards, and then different brochures. Here are those listing presentations. You can see there are a few different listing presentation options here. I really like the listing presentations and the buyer guides, buyer presentations in Command. They make it really easy to customize. You can Completely customize the pages. You can remove pages if you'd like. You can add in blank pages and so on. So these are really great and totally customizable. Under buyer, we have these neighborhood snap pieces that you can create, postcards, flyers, and door hangers. These are going to be great for door knocking. You can actually add in stats for specific neighborhoods that you're working with. Those pull over directly from command, and then you can create these pieces to go along with that. Here's those buyer presentations as well. It's going to be the same sort of process for the listing presentation. Under lead gen, there are some holiday postcards. Some event invitations. Under business basics, again, you can find some business cards and letterhead. And under new designs, you can see some new designs here as well. So editing these is going to be the same sort of process. So let's go back up to for sale. And I just want to put together a flyer really quick. So I'm going into for sale under listings and then flyers. And I'm going to select this first option here. Now editing this is going to be the same sort of thing. When you're in here, you can see my flyer is kind of big, so I need to zoom in so I can see things a little bit closer. And I'm just going to go through this real quick so we can review that process. I'll start at the bottom. I'm going to start by replacing this headshot here. I'm going to go into my images and click replace, and you'll see it'll swap out my photo. Maybe spoke too soon. My photo was not replaced, but that's okay. I can still just drag and drop this over. And there we go. And of course, I can adjust this if I need to, make this a little bigger. Switch out this logo here. And you can see when I click on the logo, it brings up the logos over here on the left. Ooh. And again, that back button is not working at this time. So you can see this logo didn't actually work well because it has a red element on it. So I'm going to just go into the company logos and just use a generic KW for now. That looks good. Again, unfortunately, the KWLS photos from this section are not adding in properly. So I'm just going to go into my images. Again, under add. I already have a couple images for this listing added in here. So I'll just go ahead and switch these out. I can upload additional images from my computer. And I'm just going to drag these over and add those images to my piece. So you can see really quickly, whoop, and when I just clicked on that, it kind of just plopped this photo on top of everything. So I'm going to delete that and just drag and drop. And then somebody had a great question about printing these items. So I'm just going to add in a couple more things because this is the same process as editing the postcards. And then I'll talk about what we can do for these print pieces. So the last thing I want to point out, I'm just going to go through and add in the property description. Of course, I can just double click in this box and manually type in or copy and paste my property description. Under KWLS, since I have my listing selected, it does have the property description available for us here. So the property description is always the last option. It's behind this little support button. But I can click replace and it'll plug in my property description for me. And I'm just adjusting that here, but that looks good to go. So let's say that this flyer is complete. I've gone through and I've updated everything. We're going to go back up to the file name real quick, just change that file name. And now the download button. So for command, for these print pieces like flyers, brochures, door hangers, you don't have the option to order those, like the physical products, through command. You would have to download the files, the high-res files, and then take them to your own printer. For the postcards, you do have the option in command in campaigns to upload postcard designs and order them and send them out that way. But for anything else, any other print products, you do have to download the file and take them to your own printer. So I'm going to go up here to download, and we have those same options again. So even though this is a print flyer, I can save this as a JPEG and I can put it in the body of an email. I can post it on Facebook and use that file digitally as well. But I can also use this as a print flyer. So this is a flyer. I can download this as a full 8.5 by 11 flyer. So I can go to PDF and change this to print quality. And then download the PDF. So this is going to give me a nice high resolution print quality flyer. And I'll just go ahead and pop that open. So now here we go. This is our flyer we just created. I can now take this PDF and I can print it on my own if I have a home printer or an office printer. I can also take this to like FedEx or wherever and get some high quality prints made as well. So you can see really easily and quickly I was able to create that flyer. And again, all of these pieces are really interchangeable. I can download the PDF and print it, or I can download a JPEG and post it on Facebook. So you can use these in a lot of different ways. So that's what we're going to touch on for the designs in Command today. Before we wrap up, I also wanted to point out some of the templates on our website. So I'm going to go over to scottleroymarketing.com. We're going to switch gears just a little bit. And I want to show you the templates available to you there. So again, I am at scottleroymarketing.com. Now, to access any of the options or resources on our website, you do have to log in. So I'm going to go over to the login button toward the top right. And we're going to log in. So for most of you, your password is just your market center number. We only have a small handful of offices that actually require a password. So under enter your KW market center number or password, go ahead and enter your market center number. If you don't know what your market center number is, this can be found at the top right of your My KW screen. You can also find this, it may be on your MCA's email. A lot of times your MCA email is something like KLRW123. The numbers at the end of their email are your market center number. If you still can't find it, reach out to your office or to us and we can help you locate that information. So I'm signing in with my market center number, and that's going to give me full access to scottleroymarketing.com. From here, we're going to highlight KW resources at the top and just click directly on this last option here for templates. Now, in addition to those templates that you have within Command, we have provided some templates for you here on our website as well. What most people utilize us and our templates for would be our email signatures. Now, I'm going to give you a quick overview of how to set that up today, but I also recommend watching this video at the top of this page. It's going to go over creating an email signature and then actually going into your Gmail account to attach that. So if we scroll down, you can see these are all the different templates that we offer for you. And I'm going to go down to this email signatures folder here and just click on that. To access our email signatures, you go through Google Drive. So you do have to be signed into a Google account. Your kw.com email is actually a Gmail. So if you don't have a Gmail that you're using currently, you can sign into your kw.com email and that will give you access. So I'm going to go ahead and sign into my email here. And there we go. Now I'm signed into Google and I have full access to all of our templates. So you can see we have 4 different folders here: modern, normal, vertical, and widescreen. You can select any option you want. There are quite a few options in each folder. I'm going to go in through modern first. So just double click on that folder, and then we can take a closer look at all the templates that are available. Let's go ahead and just click on this first option here, double click, and that'll take us into the template. So within these templates, you can see that there are 3 slides. The first one is the template itself. The second one, this message here, is just telling you that if you were to put any buttons or links on this signature, they are not going to be clickable. And yeah, these signatures are free. Somebody asked if these are free. You do have access to these for free. So this message here, if I were to add in a Facebook button or a download my app button, unfortunately, this is not going to be clickable. This is going to be a flat image signature that you can add in. But what we recommend is when you add that in, you can add in links and buttons underneath, like add in an image for a Facebook button, a Twitter button, an app button, and link those individually. But any links or buttons on this piece here are not going to work. And then this last slide is just saying watch the video to get the steps. So you can see here's our piece, but when I'm clicking on this, I can't actually do anything. I can't make any changes. We're going to skip over this button here where it says request edit access. Instead, we're going to go over here to File. So click on File. And then make a copy. I can choose to move over the entire presentation, so each slide, but I really only need the first slide to make changes. So I'm going to click Selected Slides. So again, that's File, Make a Copy, and Selected Slides. You can rename this if you'd like. I'm just going to click OK, and then it'll open up a new tab for me. And now you can see I can actually start to make changes to this. So it's going to be a similar editing process. We're just going to click on this and start editing. So for example, I can click in this box and add in my name, change the position, add in my phone number and email. I know my email is going to be too big, so I'm going to reduce the text size here. I can change out these fonts if I'd like by clicking this option here, and so on. I definitely want to change out this photo, so I'm going to right-click on the photo and then go down to Replace Image. So right-click on the photo, Replace Image, and I'm going to upload from computer because I have my headshot saved to my computer. There we go. My photo has been swapped out. Same thing with the logo. I'm going to right click on this logo here, replace image, upload from computer, and I have those logos saved here. I may have to readjust this. You can see that plugged in that logo is pretty big, so I'm just going to drag and drop. And actually, it cropped it kind of funny because that logo was not the same size. It cropped it to this size. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm just going to scrap that. I hit delete on my keyboard. Let's go to Insert at the top, and then Image, and I'm going to upload that logo again. There we go. Now this should fit. I can readjust. So for those images, you can choose to either right click and replace, or you can go up here to the top and insert a new image. I'll just go ahead and adjust that, and so on. I can also change everything on here. I can choose to move things around if I want. This rectangle here on the back, I can change the colors on everything. So I can go over here to my paint bucket. I like to go into the gradients and make it like a fun KW red. and so on. So you can completely customize this. You can add in additional information, remove info, change the fonts, the colors, move things around, and so on. But my signature is now good to go. Somebody asked what technology I'm using. This is in Google Slides. So I'm in Google Drive, and then the actual program is Google Slides. So it's kind of like the Google version of PowerPoint within Google Drive. So my email signature is now ready to go, and I'm going to go up here to the top and click File. Now, we take one extra step when downloading this, because we have seen if we were just to go File, Download, and then download this as a JPEG, some of these images are not going to be high resolution. So I'll just go ahead and test this out. If I go File, Download, and then JPEG, typically this looks a little blurry. So I'll test this out. There we go. So you can see this signature is all pixelated. My photo is blurry. I don't want to upload that to my email signature. So what we do instead, we take one extra step. We go File, Download, and then PDF. So unfortunately, you can't upload a PDF to your email signature. It has to be a JPEG. So we take one extra step and convert this. So again, File, Download, PDF, and I'm just going to save the PDF to my computer. Now there's a couple different things that you can do depending on what kind of computer you have. I could also just take a screenshot of this, and that'll give me a good usable signature. So I'm on a Mac, I can just take a screenshot like this. That's essentially going to be the same thing. I can use that. You can see that's already better than that JPEG that we downloaded. But I downloaded that PDF. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a new website and go to PDF2jpg.net. And I'll drop this in the chat for you. So it's PDF, the number 2, jpg.net. We're basically going to convert that PDF because you can't upload a PDF into your email signature. It has to be an image file. It has to be a JPEG. So from here, I can choose a PDF file. Look out for that blue button here. Choose that PDF from my computer. Under JPEG quality, I'm going to change this to excellent. And then convert. So this is going to work really quickly. It's basically just turning my PDF into a JPEG file, which I can download here. And you can see your signature probably won't be that big. So if I make this a little bit smaller, let me just go ahead and reduce this. You can see that looks good. It's no longer blurry. I can now go into my email settings and upload the signature. So that is how we can utilize our email signature templates on scottleroymarketing.com. So that is actually about it for today. I know we went over quite a bit of information. I am recording this class, so this will be up on our YouTube page later today and on our website. If I didn't answer your questions today, or if you have further questions, you can reach out to us. You can see our phone number and our email here. We're here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to reach out to us that way. If we don't hear from you guys, thank you for watching our class, and I hope you have a great weekend.